Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Set the Pipe. I'm Sully, and I'm here with CK and Bear. Hey, guys, we have a matador.
Yes, we do.
We have a matador here. CSUN, Raphael Tulino. Welcome to Set the Pipe, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure, and I'm humbled to be here.
Man, I'm stoked to have you, Raphael. I mean, for a lot of reasons, some of the things we're going to talk about later with just volleyball here in California. But, you and I are friends. We go back a long way. I've known you since when you were playing in high school, and we got to play college together for a couple of years and had a lot of success. And so, just like me, you married a volleyball player. I knew her back in high school and her brother, because my dad was the athletic director and coached her brother. So it's, I'm stoked to have you on here, my friend. So thanks for taking the time to talk to us and come here. And, obviously there's the best school in the country right here is CSUN, Cal State Northridge. Have our degrees from there, and
love it.
Share that with you guys.
Yep. And before we get going, Raphael, let me give everybody a little bit of a background of who we have today. Raphael Tulino was part of the men's volleyball team on Cal State Northridge from 88 to 91, gained All-American honors in 91. He was helped the Matadors to a 22-7 record during their first season in NCAA Division I competition in 1991. He also gained all-league honors in that same year, played the U.S. Olympic Festival as well. His career collected kills over 1,200. Career attempts close to 2,400. And at the time when he got hit into the Hall of Fame, his ranks was 9th in career hitting percentage in Cal State Northridge history. And then he also had a ton of accolades in service aces, solo blocks, assist blocks, and total blocks and career digs as well. So his hitting percentage in 1998 for the season, boys, was 434. Pretty impressive. For me personally, got to play against him as well as after college in the club scene. Raphael Tulino said one of the most profound things to me, knowing his accolades and knowing what a stud he was in college. We were playing right before nationals. It was in Southern California, and Raphael turned to me and goes, "Dude, I cannot block you." And I have never, ever forgotten that from a guy that was on the bench at Long Beach State playing for A6 Paul Mitchell. That was a pretty big deal for me to hear that from Raphael. He's always been a nice guy to me when I've seen him. So again, Raphael Tulino, welcome to Set the Pipe. We're excited to have you.
Thank you, guys. Gosh, those are so many words and stats and things I hadn't thought of in so many years. Yes, Bear.
I think there's a little delay, so we'll figure this out and we can edit that. But there is a delay, so sorry about that.
Go ahead, Bear.
No worries.
Jump in.
So let's get this going. Like, before we get started with your career and everything, can you just tell me, what was it like to have Coley as your teammate at CSUN? And you can even throw Geeter in the mix too. What was that like for you?
Right. Okay. So super cool. Coley, all those good words you said to me a few minutes ago, right back at you, my friend. You were an inspiration to play with, and he was athletically one of the better athletes I've ever played a sport with. Coley was considering his football career as well. But certainly I was at Northridge for Bob's last 2 years, and then Coley's first 2. Those are the connection I had between the two of those guys, Sammy. And then in between, we had a bunch of other Valley guys that came around and played there as well. So we were all pretty close-knit, kind of a San Fernando Valley, if you will, or somewhere in that general. LA, of course, we had Matt Unger and such, but we were close to this campus in terms of all the guys that lived around it, kind of like Long Beach was back in the day, I guess. But your question for Coley was, he and Geeter, Kenny Lynch, all those guys came in the fall of 1988 for the 1989 season, fall 89 for the 1990 season. 89. I apologize. God, they were so fun to be around. Yeah, 89, and then 1990 was the actual season, the year we play, because it's January to May. But anyway, great guy to be around, competitive, super fierce. He and Geeter was wonderful, great personalities, and we had a good, fun group. But a lot of good words for Coley in terms of what I learned from him and, competing against him. But honestly, in the middle, we were only 2 middles, pretty much. Well, Eric Dick was around but we had to battle each other. We had to battle each other quite a bit. Correct.
Yeah. But say that again, Sully.
Coley says you guys didn't have any fun. It's kind of boring at Northridge. You guys didn't go out, didn't do anything, shady as a college kid. You guys are kind of like straight-laced. Kind of boring over there. Is that true?
Negative. It was the opposite.
Negative Ghost Rider.
Coley brought it. Coley and Geeter, they brought it. The old Matamaniacs, those guys brought the personality. They were fun.
Yeah.
No, that was 1993.
Yeah.
That was 1993,
Okay.
I believe. I was not there. I was long gone. I was gone in 91, 92.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do want to say something about some of those stats for Raphael. Like he had a bunch of aces. He was one of the first ones to ever jump serve. Not many people jump serve back in those days, and Raphael did. And one of my favorite games ever, I want to say it was my sophomore year. We're playing Penn State at home, and we're down 2-1. We push it to the 5th game, and we're down 14-11 in the 5th game. And this is in our year, if you remember, in 1990, that's the first year they went to rally scoring.
Yep.
And you go to 15.
And it was capped at 17 our freshman year, if you remember. Well, my freshman year, which was 90.
Yep.
So it went to rally score, and then it was capped at 17. We're down 14-11 at home in Northridge, and our gym, you guys played there, is just packed. It's probably 1,500, 2,000, whatever, sold out, ready to go crazy, and we're losing. Raphael goes back to serve, serves like 3 aces, 2 like guys have to bump it over, and of course CK just goes and bangs it straight down. But Raphael just absolutely delivers. It was 6 straight points, and we beat him 16-14. It was all jump serves, and they got like maybe 3 or 4 aces, and that was a huge game for us because had we lost that, we'd have dropped down, and we actually made the playoffs in one of the last spots. It's the year they screwed it up, and Hawaii didn't get to go when they were 12-4, with such an unbelievable team, and but we got to go because they split up the 2 leagues. That was one of my most memorable games with Raphael, especially when you mentioned all the aces he had at Northridge.
Well, I'll never forget. For our audience, CK, we couldn't touch the net on a jump serve, on a serve period, right? So if it skinned the net, dead ball, right? It's not like it is nowadays. So he had those are clean jump serves, 6 in a row to take you to the victory. Pretty
in
sweet.
1990, when no one really was doing anything. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think Hilliard was jump serving a little bit.
You blocked 2 balls straight down, by the way. Coley blocked 2 balls. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Which was probably the only 2 I ever blocked at North.
I was,
You were before I
put the ball away, but I had no idea.
Never the best blocker. However, if you are to look at the stats in the statistical categories for careers, because I played more than anyone ever played there for 4 straight years, and you have some records still because
we'll ask Al Skates to see what the stats if they're on the up or not.
So Raphael, before we get into talking a little bit, like I said, about California volleyball, let's talk about your daughters. They both got to play volleyball. Your wife played volleyball in college. She played at Regis and at Northridge. And then you have 2 daughters that got to play. Tell us a little bit about that and that experience, being a father that played volleyball in college and got to have 2 daughters to play.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so grateful for my sport. I mean, all the social part of it and everything else that has brought me for all the 40 plus years I've been playing and the people I've met like you guys, it's just been so wonderful. My daughters just finished their career in 24. The older one, Sophia, went to Santa Clara for 4 years and then played her COVID year at UW, University of Washington, and she's in grad school. She'll graduate in June with a public health degree. So she played their 1 year there and played last year for TUI. And what a great experience up there to have her play in the Big Ten. That was kind of cool after 4 years in the WCC. And then my younger one is a setter at Division II Seattle Pacific University. So she was right down the street, if you will, and still is. They live together up there, actually, my 2 daughters. And she finished her career in 2024 as well. She was a setter Division II level, and Seattle Pacific's a good little, great little school and a great spot in Queen Anne. And so they're both up there doing that. And my wife played, and we're all so grateful to the sport and all the connections we made for it and all that. So yeah, we've been very, very fortunate, very lucky.
So this is a great segue. You talk about this. So we started this, and I know you've watched the one with Sammy and Theo and maybe a few others, and both Sully, Bear, and myself. We started this pretty much out of gratitude for the game and what it's done for us, and just to tell the story of volleyball. And we've had Geeter on and Sammy and telling fun stories. I do want to know if you were drinking beers before you went back and beat them the year I was in high school, but we come back to that story. But and it's an important piece of this podcast is to tell stories. And
he was.
I told you.
I love it.
Of course he was. I figured he was. Of course he was. Duh. He played unbelievable. But to go back to it as Raphael, I think this is a great segue. We talked beforehand about a month ago down at Heather's and what you're doing and helping out with right now. I think it's a great thing to talk about because it's given you an opportunity to give back to the game and kind of help evangelize the sport as well, and especially here in California. So why don't you tell our audience here at Set the Pipe, by the way, hit subscribe. And you always set the pipe because Raphael could come out of the back row and bang the pipe. Don't get you wrong. He really could.
A little bit. Thank you, Cole. Yes. So the Southern California Indoor Volleyball Hall of Fame. So about 10 years ago, as my daughters were in club and playing and such, I really started thinking about what can I do to get back to the sport and all that, and did some coaching, some volunteer coaching and helping out. But I ran into this a couple of years ago because I noticed on social that Walt Kerr was going in. And so for Walt Kerr, those who don't know Walt basically began the Northridge men's volleyball program back in the late 70s. And as a legend, as a coach himself at Northridge, and then club, and he's been around the game forever, which is part of what this Hall of Fame is about, to honor those who played it at the highest level or impact at the highest level, and or officials or administrators, or there's so many people that are so important to the game, generally from San Diego to Santa Barbara. So going back to what it is, it was started in 2016 by a couple of gentlemen who had love for the sport. And it began in 2016 at the Anaheim Sports Center. That's where it was kind of housed until 2021. It is now at Temecula, at Forza, which is in Temecula. It's a girls' club there, and it's got a hallway full of plaques. But certainly in 2017, the first class, all the big names went in. And they've continued to go in since, and we'll talk about the 25 and 26 class for the banquet that comes up here in May that we're trying to get the word out about. But all those who have gone in have impacted the game in some way, shape, or form. Either you're a gold medalist or a national championship, or all or both, or you're an official, you're Wink Davenport and Ken Stanley, and all the biggest names you could ever think of that impacted the game for so long are all in so far. And others who are more our age, so to speak, and mixed in with the younger guys are all on there's a lot of people on the candidate list to go in. But the bottom line is it's devotion of life to sport, to celebrate those. And I thought, going back to when I found out about with Walt, I thought, man, I saw who was on the board. And so I reached out. I said, man, this is really cool. I would love to be part of something that can promote our game, the men's game. The women's game has, I think, 2 or 3 professional leagues, but men's professionally, or men's college, although it's doing wonderfully and it's peaking just like the women's game, this is super cool to honor those who set the table for all of us, going back to the 50s, all the way through the 90s and beyond, 2000, from San Diego to Santa Barbara, all the big names on the beach, mostly indoor, but a lot of them gone indoor and beach because that's how the game began. But certainly that's maybe a quick 2-minute overview of it for now.
So people that are living here in California, Raphael, that are living here in California, that want to be a part of it, want to donate, want to go to the show, want to see who's there, want to follow who's getting inducted each year. How do they go and do that? How do you get this message out more to the broader volleyball audience here, at least in the state of California? Right.
So it's SoCal Indoor Volleyball, HOF.org. It's a C3. It's a small C3. The budget that is created and had for it generally is for the banquet that is hosted every year, and the medals that are made that are passed out, and the live auction and silent auction items that are rounded up so people can come and bid on those and raise money for the banquet, and to have this wonderful evening to honor those who go in to the Hall of Fame. So it's SoCal Indoor Volleyball, HOF.org, or SCIVBHOF.org, and you'll see all there. And there's a donation tab and all these different things in terms of the classes and what it's all about. But I've found in the last few months, since actually a couple of years, asking people, a lot of people don't quite know about it. And so it's super cool just to know this exists for our game. It's been so good to all of us.
We talked about this the other night. Sully, Timothy, Bear, Dan, what do you guys think about this? Like I said to him, for the state of California, what about if you get a couple matches for California college teams in the spring of next year? It's too late this year, right? And you host a tournament and you do it around the Hall of Fame induction for California. You're playing with California schools. You can go Pepperdine, you can go UCLA, Northridge, Long Beach, Irvine, Santa Barbara, UCLA. There's no San Diego schools yet, but maybe Hilly could pull his head out and go talk to the AD. But sorry, Hilly, I love you, and we need to get you on here. But come on, help us out. But I think it might be a good idea, Raphael. Maybe you start and if it's maybe looking over your skis to ask for college teams to do it, like NCAA. Delhi just kicked the shit out of Bear's team last night. I'm sure Delhi and Bear and a couple other, I'll say it for him, community colleges. But so
Thank you.
you're welcome. But I'm going to say it for me. So get 4 junior colleges and, do it around that as well. And maybe a boys club tournament at the same time. And then you can, give out things, get people more engaged and involved, and just get more of, like you said, eyes on it, and letting people understand the magnitude of what the game is, done. I'm talking a lot here, so I'm going to let, Bear and Sully talk here shortly, but we talked about this earlier, and you had 2 daughters. So when you were growing up, like back in the day when you first had them, like I had Jake, like there wasn't a lot of women's volleyball for you to put them on your lap and watch, right? You'd have to watch the NBA or the NFL. And now that that's there, and there's an opportunity for parents that have young girls at the 5-year-old level, whether you can actually turn on a TV on a Sunday and watch high level volleyball from college to pro. And it's amazing. And we love it. We talk about it all the time. If we can get stuff like this out there, I mean, are we trying to make money? No, you're just trying to get notoriety and let people understand that what's paved the way. And, Sully, why don't you tell Raphael, just in case he hasn't, why you started this? Because he'll appreciate this. And it's really along those lines. We're trying to promote volleyball. So tell him what you were in the gym, and I'll let you tell it.
Raphael was just in the gym, and all of a sudden I see Jeff Stork walk in, and he just got announced to be in the International Hall of Fame, not Southern California, not USA, International Volleyball Hall of Fame. And I'm with 16-year-olds, and I'm like, hey, who's that over there? They had no idea, right? Tara Cross comes by.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, who's that?
Yeah.
No idea. Randy Stoklos is there watching. So now we're on beach, right? Guys, AVP splattered everywhere. No idea. So I'm like, you know what? We've got legends in our game that I want their stories to be told so their grandkids can go up and see, oh, look at grandpa, grandma, look at, we get to save what they've done for our sport, and I thought it was really important. And then it just kind of developed into what we're doing today with CK and Bear. And we love what we're doing. But I got a question for you about the Hall of Fame. Who's eligible? We're talking high school greats. Yeah, thanks, man. Are we talking high school greats, college greats, Olympians, Southern California only, California? Generally, what's the parameters?
Generally, with ties to the sport from San Diego to Santa Barbara, and strong ties, if you will. And who's eligible? Generally, there's only been 10 classes, and I'll give you the class that's going in. 25 and 26 with the banquet. I'll give you some names here in just 1 second. Yes. So, but the bottom line is, it's, those who impacted the sport at the highest level. It might be somebody like who's going in. Let's say who's there. I'll throw out some names of friends of mine. Doug Partee, 4 national championships, the gold medal, the bronze medal. Scott Fortune, all those guys, Karch and Steve Timmons, all these guys, the best ever to play. Are already in. So then you start getting names on there that are guys like for example, like Coley, 3-time All-American, impacted the game in a great way. Or other players who have maybe an Olympic medal that are waiting to get in, or coaches that impacted the game for 30, 40 years. That's kind of the presentation here to start it. And it's so many big names and it's so much impact. And you don't have to, maybe you were just an average player, but a wonderful coach for a long time. Or whatever, those kind of, what if you're a great player and achieve so much and you're not in the sport anymore, whatever. It's a whole wide variety. It's impacting the game, the devotion to the game. And so the short answer, and that was a long answer to your question, is generally those with ties, strong ties from San Diego to Santa Barbara.
Men only.
No, women. So many women are in there. It's so much. Yes, the biggest names. Who's going in this year. So here, I'll tell you the names. Kiba Phipps is going in this year. Annette Buckner Davis is going in this year. Krista Van Zant going in 2025. Yeah, Heather Cox is going in for 2025. So all these big names that continue to affect the sport, men and women. What's that?
I just said Mooney played against Heather Cox. I believe she went to Mission Viejo. But
Pacific.
So all those ladies that impacted the game in a great way, the ladies are in there too. So no, it's men and women, and then the men's side of it. Since we're talking about it, you guys are going to know Danny Glenn's going in. Well deserved for Danny Glenn.
Oh,
I only met Danny.
Well deserved.
Just a little bit. I understand all his impact from.
He's a great guy.
From what he's done for all his. Yes, wonderful. Jarrett's going in. Jarrett Elliott, Bob Samuelson is finally going in. Howard Enstedt, the Palisades High School head coach for 6 years. All those Pally teams, all those guys that played at Palisades. Howard Enstedt is. Coach Stanley is finally being honored. Unfortunately,
well deserved as well.
But Kenny Preston is on board, and
Santa Barbara,
and praying for Kenny to continue to fight and what he's going through. But all those things, all these people that are going in that impact the game and so much, and so many more as the years go by. So yes, it's so cool to promote it and have it live on. So it's not Holyoke, we're not in Massachusetts. That's where the United States Volleyball Hall of Fame is, and that's a wonderful place to visit. This is a little bit closer to home and honors those who are indigenous, if you will, to here. Yeah, sorry.
Who can nominate these guys? How do they get on that list? I guess you could say
there's like a board. So I'm part of those who do it. The guys that I just came aboard. Mr. Sonheimer, who's a big part of it, had a sheet of all these names. But if you guys had names, sure, I'm sure you could reach out and say, hey, this person should be in this. But chances are, I've seen a lot of the names, or I saw them, and they're all there, but there could be more. And sure, of course you can nominate. Of course you can reach out. Why not?
Coley, I think it was a brilliant idea, knowing that we have connections with the head coaches down there in Southern California for the men's game specifically, but we can get the women's too, to get a tournament down there specifically for this, right?
I just think it's the right thing to do. I mean,
brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, because we're talking California, right? And if like these California schools you're going to play anyways, like for example, at the Honda Center this year, UCLA, SC, I can't remember the other two teams who were there. And they could be out of state, but I'm saying you could do it at a big event like that. And then, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. I mentioned this to you. I still need to give him a call, so you can put this on here. Chris from Slunks, I think moving this Hall of Fame to there in their new space, promoting volleyball and what they would do, this might be a brilliant move for both. I mean, his brand around the world is just killing it. Everyone loves it. He's a great human being. He wants to promote the sport. I think, as they get their new facility up and running, it's going to be a place to have a watch party for the Olympics, he was saying, in 26. So maybe they can be a part of, hosting some kind of a tournament and in Anaheim where, the men's and women's teams still train and have a college event there in the spring, because that's when this Hall of Fame is, and just try to grow it to a space where the biggest thing is, I'm going to go back to what I asked Sully and what I said, is just to pay homage to people. Like, you listen to guys in the NFL or in the NBA, and they're talking, and they'll bring up Magic. They'll bring up Kobe. They'll bring up Bill Russell. They'll bring up Joe Montana, Roger Staubach. I mean, I could go back. You don't see that often in volleyball interviews, someone to go, I was watching Pat Powers back in '84, and, he really, you don't hear that. And they're the ones that started the game. They're the ones that got us to where we got to, right? And no one needs to talk about me or you, but like our generation, Hilly, right? I mean, we'll use the best, Sammy, guys, Loy, like all of those guys were playing in our generation. Like, people should be recognizing that and looking to that and mimicking it. Like, like everyone's like, oh, he looks like Kobe. Like, why wouldn't you want to train like Kobe did? I mean, the guy was the best ever. He's my fault. But so, yeah, I'm so fired up. You're doing this. When we talked about it that day, we just need more people to really go back to the grassroots and the appreciation of where volleyball came from, so we can continue to just make it go further.
Even CIF finals, right? CIF finals, that tournament finals in Southern California.
Hey, to touch on that, Coley, check this out. Last night when we were getting our asses kicked by Delhi's team, okay? So before the match, we're in the foyer of the OCC gym, right? And I'm meeting with the guys, and there's pictures on the wall of former OCC players and coaches. Bob Wetzel, one of them, played there. Stud. I mean, he could, I think, be nominated for the Hall of Fame. But there's a picture of Steve Timmons. And I'm like, hey, does anybody know who this is right here? And none of my players knew who it was. And so I had to explain to him, I'm like, the red set, the set red that we call, it's named after him. And they're like, oh, my gosh.
True.
But that's like my point. And that happened last night.
Yeah.
So,
and what's crazy about that, Bear, honestly, and I'm going to throw myself in a way, like I was, good and all that stuff, but like I'm no one. He's Steve Timmons. Like, he is.
They had no idea who he was.
He is literally like, and I'm going to throw out like all-stars, the Dr. J's, the Barkleys, the Kobe's, the Magics, like the Oscars, like he's that. Like he's one of the best to ever do it in this country. Win medals, like he's been a
Red
star.
Sand, all that,
all at the beach. He starred in Side Out, the movie. But I mean, he's done so much, and like the fact that people don't know is a shame. It's a shame,
right?
Yeah,
that's part of what Sunc's going to do.
Sully,
I love
story.
the fact that you're a part of this.
Let's hear it.
Oh, thank you. I have just one quick story, so then you chime in. I was going to say, but the story you told, and now what you guys have said. 10 years ago at Wave, which is the volleyball club my daughters played at down here, in 2011, 12, 2014, 15, the best teams, the older teams were being coached by Hilly, Steve Timmons, and then as a side, they had Judd Bushler. You had these girls, girls, and I thought to myself, these girls have any idea who they're I'm sure they did, but think about that for a minute. That was coaching like the highest 17, 18s team at Wave, those three guys. So same thing. I was like, oh my goodness, you guys have the cream of the crop when it comes to volleyball. Judd was unbelievable at the sport, as well as being as good as he was in the NBA. But you get the idea. So we have all these stories. So yeah, it's just an honor to chat about them and continue to raise up our sport and chat it up. So this is super cool.
I need to say something because we talk about it all the time here. Like, so we're talking about Brent Hilliard, who played at Long Beach State, played on the Olympic team as one of the greatest to ever play. And in my opinion, during the time I saw, probably the best offensive player I have ever seen, the way he could put the ball away and do whatever he can. The guy used to swing at 90 or 120 swings a match. Steve Timmons, we already went over, one of the best to do it, Olympics, all that stuff. And Judd Bushler played at the University of Arizona, won three NBA championships with Jordan. And as Raphael said, he could have played volleyball with no problem. The guy was a legit volleyball player, still is a legit volleyball player.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of guys who that staff had. And again, this goes back to the main point of this. Everyone listening to this in the juniors, I mean, our generation knows, but if you're playing juniors volleyball, open up a book, get on chat, get on Claude.
Go to YouTube.
Go to Google, go to YouTube, start pulling up some videos. Yeah, the game's a lot slower and it's a little different, but those guys and gals could absolutely bring it in those generations. And it's worth knowing who they were and the foundation that got you to where you are today.
Hey. So I'm going to go back, Raphael, if you don't mind. Coming out of Northridge, you got in radio. Your education is marketing with marketing radio, right? Didn't you do a number of years, 3, 4, 5, 6 years in the radio? And then you actually wound up having a brilliant career at the Treasury Department, if I'm not mistaken, and retired now. But yeah, shouldn't this come pretty easy for you to get on this podcast? And shouldn't it become pretty easy to get on others as well to promote exactly what you're trying to do in Southern California?
Yes. And yes. And I did a lot of television, radio, print interviews and before the IRS. It was my job. But then, yes, the radio thing was great. And I still have it in me. I'd love to go back to terrestrial radio and do something or do something like this where you chat with people and interview people and get the best out of them and all that kind of thing, listening to those who do it so well. So yes, that was a cool experience for me. And I was very lucky to have the job I had for so many years, very stable and fortunate to be down here doing that. But on to new things and new endeavors and doing something like you guys are doing. I think it's just super cool. It definitely hits home for sure.
You know, boys, this reminds me of the interview with the Dimps and what we said, right? Raphael, you're in Southern California. You're in San Diego. We got to get guys like you on TV. We have to get you color commentating. Shoot, you can do play-by-play that knows our sport, that will talk to us with our own language, not down to us, just flat out talking. And Cole even said, I mean, Cole's got the gift of gab, but he says that you give me 20 minutes of give me the roster and you give me, some statistics, I can talk the whole match because I know volleyball and I know how to talk to our audience. Right. I think you're in a great position with the resume that you have and just the guy that you are, man. I don't know. I'd be knocking on doors right now because we sure do need people like you.
Thank you so much. I'm honored you'd say that. It'd be kind of fun to do an ESPN Plus broadcast or something like that. Some kind of color. Yeah. Something like that. That'd be kind of a cool thing for sure. Because there's so many.
I would give
so much
Hilly
streaming out there.
Or Barnett.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not just Barnett. I mean, and I would definitely call Barnett and everyone but the thing is you got to find out, because ESPN Plus, at least on the basketball, and I know on volleyball, they do it a lot, right? So who do they get? A lot of the people they get don't know what they're doing. So like, I can't think that it's a lot of money. So, like find out how I would go, I mean, where you are, all those schools, USD, UCSD, San Diego State, all of those schools, a lot of them are on, ESPN Plus. Try to find and pipe in. We just had another guest with her family, which is just an amazing family. And, but we're talking about doing the same thing with her, because she's great at what she does, but it's not that easy to find. But we watch volleyball all the time, and a lot of the commentators really aren't polished. I know they're trying, and we're not crushing their dreams. It's just, again, this game is growing, and it's growing at leaps and bounds. And I think if we're going to do that, it's like, watching a city grow. You better have the infrastructure for it. And the infrastructure is people talking about it and it being on television, and so like, if someone's talking about, okay, that's a bump, and like, oh, yay. Like, it's more like that. So I think you should do it, or at least, look into it for sure, into those things.
And you have a great voice.
It's on my list. Thank you. It is on my list. I definitely would
just don't tell anybody you
least,
graduated from Northridge. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Hey, I have to tell you guys in our audience, man, Northridge, since the earthquake, is a beautiful school. Unfortunately, because of the earthquake, it all was ruined for the most part. But the rebuild and the
January
growth
17th,
of that school in the last 30 years.
No one remembers.
I remember.
4:31 in the morning.
Anyway,
that school is state of the art and beautiful. So not a bad place to graduate from. And Coley, I should have worn my CSUN shirt. I feel like I should have, but I went with a collar just to kind of be more. But CSUN,
we'll give you time if you want to go change.
By the way, his nickname in college is, as you could probably tell, was never up, never down Tulino. Just always even keeled, would come always ready to play, always was good. It was great. But you know what, Raphael, you're right. And like, if anyone's looking for schools to go to here in California at a high school, it's a lot different campus today than it was when you and I were there. And it really is a beautiful campus. And they have some wonderful, like a lot of schools do. It's not just Northridge. Long Beach does. We have some great programs that are, ranked in the top, 5-10 in the country in a few certain things. So it's definitely a great school. Our volleyball programs, getting along. We love Theo, and it's just got to keep riding it, to be a Matador for life.
Yeah, we're lucky to have the program, and Division I is needing more programs and such. Certainly, Division III is doing wonderfully, as you guys know. By the way, there's so many schools, but certainly hanging on to that D1 program in the Valley is a super cool thing, and it's thriving for sure. Yeah.
So, as we come to a close here, we've been talking for almost an hour. What's next for Raphael besides this,
I was going to ask the same thing.
endeavor with the Hall of Fame? What's next for Raphael? Are you going to stay in volleyball? What are you going to do?
Yeah, I've been looking for, something like the radio gig. Getting back into terrestrial radio would be wonderful. I have a friend. I'm doing some side accounting work, just a few hours here and there. I'd love to work at a golf course or do something like that. Things on those lines. I didn't really want to retire, but if you guys remember Doge and the whole Doge thing from about a year ago now, the offers that came in and what was going on, it just made for me, an early retire at 24 years, almost 24 years, it made sense. And it was a little bit of a shock, but I'm so very lucky to have a chance to do something else, and doing something on air would be wonderful. If it's broadcasting volley or being around it and doing these kinds of things, I'm so very lucky to be in this position to do that. So, but for now, I'm taking it easy and seeing what's out there and doing all those things, and a chance to chat with you guys and and pump up this Hall of Fame thing that is it's just so good. I think let me plug it one more time. SoCal Indoor Volleyball HOF.org, small C3. And promote our sport it's just super cool. I'm honored you guys would have me.
I'm stoked you came on, Raphael. It's been fun to talk. And, like I said, we go way back, and, I say this a lot with the right things, but, Long Beach and Northridge back in the 90s were very similar. They were better than we were overall with volleyball, but I'm not talking about volleyball. I'm talking about the commuter school.
You want that story? I'll give you that story, by the way.
The type of players.
Yeah. Give it to us. Go ahead. Give it to us. I want to hear it.
Because before we sign off, I'll give you the story. Okay. So it was 1989, and we were supposed to play at Long Beach State in April. It was probably one of the last games of the year. And Long Beach was still in the running to get into the WEVA. Weave
Yes, we
playoffs. They had to beat us, I think, to secure a
Yes,
spot.
we were.
And here we are in 1999. We lost a lot of 5-set matches, and but we were still a decent team. And we go down to Long Beach State, and we go down to the gym, and I don't know what it was, 5-6 o'clock, and all of a sudden we couldn't play there because there was like an explosion underneath, some gas explosion or something like that. So we left. We weren't sure what to do. Maybe a few of us decided, an adult beverage was appropriate. Maybe it wasn't, because we didn't know if we were going to play or not. Then we got word.
Get it.
Then we got word, that we were going to play at Marina High School at like
which is
8
strange because no one had cell phones.
Was it Marina
it was
or
actually
Ocean
on.
View?
We thought
Marina?
it was over, but then it was on. It was Marina High School. I think Barry, you're an Edison guy, right? So it was your rival, right?
I went to Fountain Valley, but I work at Edison. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. Okay. So anyway, long story short, we go there, we play the match. It ends up being this 3-hour long match with side outs forever, because we used to side out back in the day to 15 and, anyway, and we ended up beating them at like midnight. And it was terrible. You guys were heartbroken and we were just happy as hell. We finally pulled out a 5-set match. We kind of played the role of spoiler and all that, but
drunk.
that happened.
That's why you guys were happy.
At Marina High School that night and knocked you guys out. What's that?
Yeah, I played that match as a freshman. That was
knocked
not
off
fun.
the Niners.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Oh my God.
Okay, so
that's a great
was it Marina High School? Is that right or no?
Unbelievable.
Is it Marina High School?
It was Marina. I think it was Marina.
Was it Marina? I thought it was Ocean View.
Maybe it was Ocean View. I wasn't there, but I do know.
Who cares? Who cares?
It just shows the mental
Doesn't matter.
of the athlete at Cal State Northridge. They think it's over. They go, they're 21 years old. They're adults. They go, just cheers for a great season. Next thing they know, they get word. And you said there was no cell phones. How did they get word? Because of course Price knew the rummies were at the local bar. And that's an easy no-brainer. We didn't need cell phones. Oh, guys, we're playing. Oh, shit. Right in there. And Sammy probably had 80 kills that night knowing him. It's just unbelievable. What a story.
Hey, Raphael, take us back to 1991 real quick. Your best year of your college career, right? We won the Natty that year. Just a great team that I was on, but your accolades was pretty high up. I mean, All-American. Take us back.
I was on a great team. I had Coley in the middle. Coley and I were in the middle, and we were good there. And Matt Unger was our setter, and he was great. God, he was a fire. He wasn't very tall, but man, he made up for it in other ways. So we had a great team. We had Kenny Lynch and then Neil on the outside, and we had a group. We were solid. Anyway, and I just fit in, and I just tried to do what I can to. I always think of middle as being like your offensive lineman or whatever. I just got to make the effort. It opens up our opens up the outside if you can, freeze the other middle. So I was always trying to be available and up early and all those things. And I got rewarded for the effort. And that was super cool. And, I was decent enough as a middle to do what I needed to do. But, I battled and I really enjoyed it. And it was fun. It really was. And I had a good team around me.
He's being humble. I'll say this, like I said, he's never up, never down. Is he's that guy on the team, especially that year in 91. And we were really good, by the way. We were top 5, top 7 in the country those 2 years. I mean, we just weren't good enough to beat you that year, but we were pretty damn good. And, the thing about Raphael is he's that middle and he's that player that you absolutely need. He doesn't make mistakes. He does everything you need. He's super successful. He's just not the loud mouth, flamboyant, crazy guy with a crazy haircut like me, or the years before. And I'm not saying I'm him by any means, but like Sammy and Neil Kaufman, and right? And you have Matty Unger, who's like singing, screaming, and little Matt with the fire. Like all this is being around the game, and everyone's going crazy. And Raphael's right there playing as good or better than anyone doing his job. And so he got rewarded because he deserved it. He deserved it. And it just wasn't as I think it's pieces of flair in Office Space. So he just didn't wear enough pieces of flair to get himself, accolades in the crowd, so to speak, but he deserved it. And they gave him what he deserved because he was that good that year.
Hey, Raphael, do you still play at all? Or when's the last time you played?
Yeah, a little bit. The beach, we go down to Moonlight down here. I live down here in Carlsbad, Encinitas. So we go down there and throw it around with the guys. There's a nice crew down there. There's a bunch of people down here that still play. People have sand courts and things like that. So yeah, hit it around. Honestly, nobody really wants to cover that giant court anymore. So, 4-man is kind of fun and things like that. Or if you're playing on the shorter court with the antennas and everything. But certainly trying to just stay in my lane, if you will, but enjoying the beach game at 57. Jump a little bit, dive a little bit, and try to play the long game a little bit at the same time, right? So yeah.
I played. Good stuff. I played a few months ago.
Awesome.
I played a few months ago in an indoor co-ed thing. I think I walked out of the gym that night saying, "I don't know if I'm ever going to play again." Yeah. I was just happy my Achilles didn't explode. Yeah.
Oh man.
So maybe on the beach, but I'm just curious,
Yeah.
at our age,
of course,
right?
There's a lot of players down here, just like you guys have up there. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure, a lot of them. Well, listen, Raphael, I'll tell you this. From me to you, at least as a Matador to a Matador in a state school, all four of us, really, really grateful for you to come on here and talk some stories, do what you're doing to help out with the Hall of Fame and grow the game here in California and trying to get eyes on this. So, make sure you guys get on that website. If you have any suggestions, look at the suggestion box, email them. We want to see if we can grow this. And it's not just about growing the Hall of Fame. It's about growing volleyball. And it's about growing volleyball from the grassroots all the way down from the youth to the pros to folks like us, like Raphael at 57, still doing some beach games and whatnot, just to continue to play the game that we all love. It's we all are grateful for, that has given the lives that we have. So thanks for coming on, Raphael. Really happy about it, and go Matadors.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Right back at you. A lot of gratitude my way. No, I think I'm all good. Hey, good to see. Hey, I'm to reiterate, I'm blessed that I was on with you guys, and we all kind of share the same mission here with what you've got going here with Sep the Pipe and the sport and everything. So super cool way to get back and be part of this. So right back at you.
Yeah, Raphael, what a great guest. Thanks for coming on, Sep, my brother.